So, my name is Rafayat. I run an organization called Footsteps. I am a social entrepreneur by profession, and being a entrepreneur means being able to take risks. But this wasn't always in my plan. I actually had a life plan when I was young. So, when I was young, my plan was to get good grades in school, go to a top Ivy League university, graduate with like a 4.0 perfect GPA, work at the UN for like 20 years, and then start my own nonprofit once I came back. But at the age of 17 in high school, I had this thought: will I even live up to the age of 40? Because you never know what happens the very next day. And at the age of 17, I took a risk by starting my own organization, Footsteps, which today has helped over almost 1 million people graduate from extreme poverty till date. And we are continuing to do our work so today I basically want to share the story of, is it risky to actually take a risk? The risk that I took at 17 years old has defined the journey that I've taken in my life. And I'll share about 3 stories on how taking risks has impacted my journey of running this organization. So the first story is back in 2014. It's just been a couple of months with my organization, and during that time, I'm about to graduate high school as well. And I believe that has been one of the best decisions that I took in my life. Why am I saying this? Just think about this. If we go back in time, you're going to school, you're trying to excel in school. Right after school, you go to university. Right after graduating university, you try to find a good job to work in. In the middle, where do you actually find time to figure out what you actually want to do in life? You never get that time. And within that short period of time, you have to decide what to do in life. But what I did, I took a breather. And that 1 year helped define or helped me decide that this is the career that I wanted to go forward with. The second story is a bit personal to me. This was back in 2015. I was actually riding a rickshaw from Gulshan to this place. And during the rickshaw ride, the rickshaw puller was looking for a place to drink water from. And then in some area in front of a building, there was a small water container. He just gets off the rickshaw and goes to drink water from there. That experience gave me the idea, why don't we use the water supply from these various home and office buildings to create public drinking water access? During that time at Footsteps, me and my classmates, we were mostly working on, one-off campaigns. So when I shared this idea with them, all of them at the very same time said, no, this is very risky to go forward with. We don't have enough experience. And during that time, at that time, I decided, no, we should at least give it a try. So since they were not involved in that process because they did not want to take accountability, it was me and my office assistant going to places like Hatirpul, searching for vendors, seeing what types of water filters there are out there, finding the sites where we can set these water systems up. And I remember one day, I think this was actually near this area itself, I was under the scorching sun, and I honestly felt very alone. And I was also scared that whether, like, the people around me did not believe that we would be able to pull this off. But even in that moment where I felt alone, I was like, at least let me give it a try. Today, it's been 10 years of the water project, which is known as Trishna, which through its over 300 systems all across Bangladesh is ensuring safe water for over 400,000 people every single day, just because we decided to give it a try. The last story that I want to share is a very recent one. So, just a few months ago, we were working on this World Bank project in Adabor area where we are trying to set up these drinking water facilities through Trishna for waste workers in that area. And then we came across this canal, Adabor Canal, and over 2 kilometers of this canal was filled with disgusting garbage. Seeing that canal was intimidating for us because the community was getting so affected uh, because of that canal. There was an increase of diseases. There was a lot of pungent smell in that area, and nobody wanted to touch that canal because it almost seemed impossible to clean it up. It was very risky because if this project fails, it's a failure, right? And I remember when we were seeing the site, one of our colleagues, Mishu Bhai, he comes up to me and he goes like, "Ere Rafael, এটা মনে হয় এক মাস পরিষ্কার করলেও সম্ভব হবে না." And for some reason, I was again like, "Bhaiya, let's give it a try." And I remember when we started cleaning up Adabor Canal, because of the plan that we made, we cleaned that entire canal up within 72 hours. It became a viral campaign, so viral that political parties like BNP started adopting this initiative as part of their own social programs, just because we decided to take a risk and give it a shot. So, what is risk in general? Risk is taking an action where there's almost little to zero possibility of succeeding. But there are certain qualities that you need to have to ensure that you're as successful as possible when pursuing that risk. The first one is you need to be extremely courageous and determined in that journey to ensure that success when you're taking that risk. You cannot have any doubt because the more doubt you have, the more reason for failure. Second, when you actually take that risk, you have to be extremely stubborn to stick by it. You cannot give up. If you give up, then you fail. And the third most important quality is not accepting failure. There's a huge difference between failing and accepting failure. So, if you do not accept failure, if you go by that trial and error process, one day it may work out. Today, because of the risk I took when I was 17 years old, has now turned into something where I am making a living from doing the thing that makes me feel the most alive. So, take a risk in life. Is it worth taking a risk? Is it risky taking a risk? Yes, absolutely. But is it worth taking a risk? Absolutely as well. So, apply to your dream university. Start that business you always wanted to do. Ask out that girl or boy that you think will say no, because it is always worth the shot giving a try. Give it a shot, and if it works out, then the entire world is yours. Thank you so much.